And the last area that I want to go to, I'm gonna go this way to go to it. But, wait a minute. Nope, I want to do one other thing first. Because another fun thing about this, if we decide to go into the ship and talk to Victoria, up here... Kohiro, Victoria! I'm so glad to be back. The lab wasn't... or something... never mind. Anyways, you talk to her, she says that she found a trinket in the lab. Where she was hiding. Or not hiding. Where she was utterly hopelessly lost, but same thing. And, yeah, we talked to her, I think after... I'm not sure when that triggers, when you can get her to give you... or you can get the trinket from her anytime that you... anytime after you save her. But you can talk to her and find the locations of all the other trinkets by talking to her, I think, after the second glitch world where the Gravitron is. I think that's the trigger. I'm not... voice crack. I'm not entirely sure. I'm the chef from the Muppet Show. I don't know his name. I think it's actually just a chef. You know, just the chef. You know, like The Artist, which is that movie that I haven't seen. And I'm not sure if I ever will see it, but sounds interesting anyway, just because it won an Oscar. You know, anything that wins an Oscar sounds interesting. But you know, it's always weird whenever you're not watching the Oscars, and you just see reviews and things, or you see trailers for movies that are supposed to be really well known and they're really critically acclaimed and have great reviews and they have supposedly won crazy awards and things. You always see movies like that in trailers and things, and they're movies that you've never heard of in your life and never hear about ever again. Like, I don't even understand that. You know, there are plenty of movies like that. I've seen so many trailers that are just Best Movie of the Year by New York Times, or the something Ledger. I don't even know what all the different newspapers that are really well known are. What's another one? Wall Street Journal? Maybe that's what I'm thinking of. But yeah, they're just movies that you've never heard of, ever. So let's see. Where else can I go? No, wait, no, I didn't, no, I didn't want, no, not Warp Zone. I didn't want to warp to the Warp Zone. I didn't want to warp to Kid Icarus World. Okay, there we go. Whoops. Sorry about that. Sorry about that, folks. We are now online again. There's just so much of this map to explore. So much. So many mans, man. Oh, and you can see by the captions on the bottom of the screen that this is the entrance to the final world of the game. But we're not going to go there just yet. Because we have an elephant to see. Yeah, I said that one thing earlier in the LP looks like an elephant, but this thing that we're about to see looks a lot more like an elephant. It's kind of weird, actually, you'll see. It's because it's an elephant. Like, I love this. This is so random. This is how you get to one of the trinkets. There's a flashing, seizurific, rainbow-crying elephant. Just in the middle of nowhere. Just, what? Oh, I love it so much. And this is one of the reasons that indie games are... Like, one of the things that's great about making indie games, I would assume, is that you have a lot more freedom than you would in a big company, unless you're like the director of a video game and you're trying to make the best game that you can by getting everyone to do your bidding for you. But also, this screen looks like udders. Just saying. But I guess that's it. Is that all I... yeah. I think all the remaining trinkets are in the final area of the game, so let's go. I just think that's great. Like, with an indie game, much more so, or much more likely in an indie game would be... It's much more likely that you would find something like Flashing Elephant in an indie game rather than a mainstream game. Like, you wouldn't find that in Skyward Sword, for sure. Flashing elephants. That'd be the best part of the entire game if it was, though. Yeah, this final area is Space Station 2. We've gone through the tower, we've gone through the lab, we've gone through, let's see, what was the other area called? Well, there's Space Station 1, the Warp Zone, and now we're going through Space Station 2, which actually you can see sort of, Space Station 1 up there, the top yellow area. There were some areas that we hadn't gone through in that area. There were various areas, that we passed on by because we couldn't reach them. And now we can, because this is an area that kind of loops around and connects, which is cool. This split path here, it doesn't really matter which one you pick. I always pick the top one because it's easier to go through. But if you're going for like time trial mode or something, you'd probably want to pick the bottom path because it's faster. It's just a lot harder to get through without killing yourself, so I'm going through the top path here. Oh, I get it. Plain sailing from here on, I get it. There's someone actually, someone who is credited for naming all the rooms in this game, naming all the different screens, which is a kind of odd thing to be credited for, but it makes sense, I guess. I don't know. Like, it seems like the creator of the game, the main designer, would be the one naming all the rooms, but someone else did it for him, so... But I like the names of most of these rooms. Some of them I really don't understand, but then there are some that are really clever, and then some of them are the references to other things. Like, there was one earlier that was called A Wrinkle in Time, and, you know, that's a reference to the book A Wrinkle in Time, or the movie. I think there was also a movie. I saw the movie, and I read, or not read, but I listened to part of the audiobook of the book, and I don't really like A Wrinkle in Time that much. The concept is kind of cool, but the book I didn't like, or the movie. Actually, both of them kind of sucked in my mind, but that might be because I have high standards about books. But I like the concept of, you know, a wrinkle in time, you know, like, bringing one point to another in a blanket would make it wrinkle. Like, if you wrinkle a blanket, one point is brought to another point, so it's like if you bend the fourth dimension, if you bend time, then you, or supposedly time is the fourth dimension, I don't know if that's actually supposed to be true, but if you bend it... Oh, hello, Vermilion! What are you doing here? He just talks about something that I really don't recognize. Also, this thing is an enemy. This blue thing, if you touch it, you kill yourself. I don't know why that's there. It's just to point that out. But yeah, the concept of the fourth dimension is one that I've been kind of interested in recently, partly because of the idea of bending it and bringing one point in time to another so you can warp from one point in time to another. It's like time travel, basically. But another thing that I've been kind of looking at recently is there's this other indie game that I'm not even sure if it's out yet. I don't think it is. But it's a game called Miega Cure. It might be out. I'm not entirely sure. It's spelled like M-I-E-G-A-K-U-R. And these are the lies that we have to avoid. They're being fed into the TV. I think that must be a public service announcement of some kind. Anyways, the idea of the game is that you can switch between, or we as people, we as human beings can only see 3 dimensions. We can only perceive 3 dimensions because that's how we're made. But also, I think these things look like giant Smarties. Anyways, enough of that. Because we can only perceive 3 dimensions, it's not possible for us to see the 4th dimension, and the game kind of plays up the idea, or not plays up the idea, because, I don't know, that seems like a weird way to say it, not the right way to say it. But the concept of the game is that you can actually switch the 4th dimension out with one of your existing dimensions that you can see, and you solve puzzles by going through walls and stuff with that. It sounds really interesting. Anyways, this is the most notorious trinket in the whole game, and I love it so much. This jelly donut right here, this flashing jelly donut, we can't quite reach it because there's this tiny wall in the way. Yeah, it's just this tiny hurdle that we can't jump over because we can't jump. Duh. But yes, we have to actually get this jelly donut by going all the way around this crazy maze-like structure, flip on the top, go all the way back down. We're exercising before we get our donut. It's like we're a rabbit and we're trying to get the carrot that's dangling off the string and we can't get it unless we do something else first. We are being trained like pets here, except we're actually, you know, this little smiling stick figure that's made of 8 bits in Commodore 64 world. Except Commodore 64 world keeps glitching up. It's like I don't think we collided into a Rainbow Unicorn asteroid or anything. I think we actually collided into, like, Donkey Kong 64, because Donkey Kong 64 is a really, really glitchy game. Not quite so much as Superman 64, but Superman 64, the whole game is a glitch, so it doesn't even matter. Okay, let me focus here. No! Oh, I keep doing that too soon. I think the first time I played through this, I died like 200 times, but this isn't even the place that I died the most on. Whenever I was singing in the whole World -1 escort mission place, that was actually the place that I died on the most. Specifically the screen that says, "Not as I do." That screen, the one that's called that. I died on that one 300 times. So, oh no. I'm kind of sad by how not well this is going, because I've beaten this in like 4 tries a few times before. In fact, the last recording that I did of this, I think it took 8, maybe 10 tries. And I keep failing in the same spot. Just stop running into the spike. Why are you doing that, Viridian? Why are you voluntarily going into that spike? Voluntarily, that's a word that starts with the letter V. Let's just think of all the words that start with the letter V, shall we? Well, I don't know what all of them are. Now, stop doing that, Viridian. Stop it. Stop it. Okay, just do this all in one go. Just do it. No! Oh well. Vegetables starts with V. I could talk about vegetables. I like vegetables. Not a whole lot. I don't, like, eat vegetables all the time because I like vegetables, but... Okay, here we go. No! That's the worst part that you could have died, Viridian. That's the worst place. Anyways, broccoli. I like broccoli and I like lima beans. I don't know a lot of people who like lima beans, but I like lima beans a lot. There's the trinket. There we go. There's our jelly donut. We've finally exercised enough. We've gone on this elliptical enough times to get that trinket. And the terminal at the bottom of the screen, or at the bottom of that whole thing, it says, "Ha, you'll never be able to get this one." Well, we just got it, so whatever, little terminal. I hope you got a terminal disease. Little angry person with eyebrows. I need to adjust my headset. Goodness gracious, this headset keeps falling apart. I have several headsets in my room. Here's the elephant cat again. The elephant cat tombstone. And, I have several headsets in my room, but this is like the one that I like to use, except it keeps falling apart, because there's like the part that attaches it to my head, and there's the part that, there's the speaking part that I speak into. And usually I just scotch tape it together, but I actually duct tape it together recently and it's still falling apart. Anyways, this is actually the most clever trinket in the game. This one's pretty awesome. And this is what I consider to be the hardest trinket to get in the game. Or at least I did at one point in time, but not so much anymore. Except for this first part. You have to avoid these frickin' bow ties. But the idea behind it is that you have to break one of the platforms on the other side of this room, and you have to keep on this checkpoint. You can't hit any of the other checkpoints on the way, because you actually have to kill yourself and make one of the platforms move left and right, and then you can use that moving platform to get the trinket from this side of the room. So it's really clever. I don't really know if that made any sense, but it'll make more sense whenever I actually do it. No, don't go into the bow tie. Bow ties are bad. Bow ties are evil. I remember we had this, there was this guy on the Weather Channel, or some kind of weather channel that we had, a while back, and this guy always wore a bow tie. Like, there was never a day when he wasn't wearing a bow tie. And he was just an interesting person because he was wearing a bow tie. I think, yeah, I went to a wedding recently. It was my sister's wedding, and we had to wear bow ties, which was an unusual experience. The priest in the wedding was actually the one who had to tie all the bow ties, because he knew how. He was the only person of all the bachelors to know how to tie a bow tie. So that was interesting. I'm probably never going to learn how to tie a bow tie. Stop stuttering. I don't even know how to tie a regular tie, which is weird, because I actually have to wear a tie to school on a few different days. Or, like, there are occasions at school when we have to wear a tie, and, because I don't know how to tie a tie, my dad does it for me, so I really should learn how to do that at some point. He just has this way of doing it that I really like, and I just don't know how ties work. Tying knots is one of those things that just utterly confuses me. Except for my shoes. I didn't learn to tie my shoes for the longest time either. I think I was actually maybe 10 before I learned how to tie my shoes. But even now, I don't really feel like there's much use in tying your shoes very often. If you have tennis shoes, then you can pretty much just slip them on and take them off anytime you want to, because there's... You know, if you tie them once, there's almost no point in tying them ever again, because they're already tied. I don't know. But yeah, that's the trinket for you. That was the trinket, that was the thing to get, that was the trinket, and don't overthink it. Because if you do, then you'll pink it. No. Never mind. Hello, Vitillary, I think is your name? Vitillary? Man, these characters have weird names. I guess they kind of had to have weird names that sounded sort of scientific and start with the letter V and all that stuff, but... You know, Vitillary, Verdigris, those are weird names. I wouldn't want to name my kid after those things. Would you have a kid named Verdigris? That's like the weirdest of all the names. So we're all saved! That was the end of the game. Welcome back! Where's Captain Viridian? What? Aw, now they're all sad. Just turn those frowns upside down, guys.